All right, let's dive into this Smart City Expo World Congress thing happening in Barcelona.
Yeah, this is pretty cool.
It's way more than just another trade show, though, right?
For sure. This is where, like, the whole future of cities gets, figured out.
We're using the exhibitor's ultimate guide to Smart City Expo Barcelona from atomexpostand.com to kind of break it all down.
Oh, nice.
So if you're a company and you want to, really stand out there, how do you make a big splash?
I think you hit the nail on the head with Make a Splash, because it's not just about, like, being there. Smart City Expo is about, like, being a leader.
Okay.
Showing people how your, tech can actually solve the crazy problems that, like, every city in the world is dealing with.
That makes sense. But why is this particular event, like, so special? I mean, what's the big deal for companies thinking about exhibiting?
Well, the attendees are different.
In what way?
I mean, they're not just there to, look around. It's city planners with, like, real projects ready to go. Tech people from huge companies with lots of money to spend, and even, like, government people who, make policies that affect everyone.
So it's a global thing.
Totally.
Right.
And they're all looking for solutions. Real solutions to real problems. Like the kind of stuff your company probably does.
Yeah.
Things that could, like, seriously change how we all live and work in cities.
So it's not just about making a sale there.
No. It's, like, bigger than that. It's about forming those partnerships that last a long time.
Right.
The kind that, like, could actually change the world,
Okay. I'm starting to get it. So huge potential.
Definitely.
But let's be real. Exhibiting at a huge event like this has got to be a big investment.
Yeah.
So if a company's like, all right, we're going for it, what's the very first thing they should do?
Well, the guide is super clear about this. Plan, plan, plan. And that all starts with, like, knowing what you want to achieve.
Specific goals.
Okay.
Not just be successful.
No, like real measurable stuff.
Yeah.
Do you want to leave with, say, 100 qualified leads from, specific countries? Or maybe, like, get a pilot project going with a big city. Whatever it is, make it crystal clear. That's what's going to guide everything you do.
So no vague dreams allowed.
Yep. Nope. Got to be concrete.
Okay.
And that's where knowing your audience comes in.
Meaning?
Go deeper than, just saying city governments.
Right.
Think about who you actually want to reach. Are you going for, like, the sustainability people, the tech people? Knowing exactly who you want at your booth is going to help you, like, craft the right message.
And I bet the guide also talks about, like, where your booth is. Right?
So, yeah, big time. Location. They talk about strategic placement, like whether it's those high traffic spots or even setting up near your competitors to, like, create a hub for a certain type of solution. You got to think about where the people you want to talk to are going to be hanging out and how you can, like, catch their eye.
Okay, makes sense. And what about the booth itself?
Yeah. We're talking Smart City Expo, so I imagine it's all about, the latest tech and really interactive stuff.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. The guide goes beyond just looking cool. It's about creating a real experience.
Like an example.
Like, imagine showing a city's, like, digital twin where people can play with real-time data, or demoing, like, a smart trash system that uses sensors and AI to make garbage collection super efficient.
So less pamphlets, more like a whoa mobile.
Exactly. You want people to remember you, to be talking about you. But it doesn't end there.
What else?
Pre-event marketing is huge, according to the guide.
Yeah, that makes sense. Get the excitement building before you even get there.
Exactly. Tease new products online, send out those personalized invites to the big decision makers. Maybe even, like, partner up with some industry influencers to, get people talking about you before the event even starts.
Yeah.
Build that anticipation and you'll have a line out the door. Okay, so we got our goals. We know who we're targeting. The booth is in the perfect spot. It looks amazing. And we've got all this buzz going online. What happens when the doors actually open?
Showtime. Now it's about bringing your A game to the show floor. And that starts with having a great booth staff.
Yeah.
I'm not just talking about people who can, like, recite specs. You need people who can tell a story.
Okay.
People who can explain complex stuff in a way that, like, anyone can understand. And really connect with people.
And probably, like, speak multiple languages, too.
A huge bonus, yeah, for sure. Being able to chat with people in their own language can make a huge difference. And remember, it's not just about standing there waiting for people to come to you.
Right.
Use those cool demos you build. Use that immersive experience. Draw people in. Start conversations. Make your booth the place to be.
It's almost like creating like a mini event inside the bigger event.
Yeah, I like that. You're curating an experience that goes way beyond, the typical trade show booth.
And in all the excitement, you got to remember the main reason you're there.
Yeah.
To get those valuable leads.
You got it. But it's not just about grabbing every business card you can.
Right.
Your team needs to know how to, figure out which leads are actually worth pursuing.
Right.
Asking the right questions to really understand, what people need, what problems they're trying to solve.
I see.
Are they actively looking for something specific? Do they have the, power to actually buy stuff? Getting that kind of info is super important for following up later.
And speaking of following up, I bet the guide talks a lot about how the work doesn't just end when you pack up the booth.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
In fact, that's where a lot of exhibitors, kind of mess up.
Yeah.
But if you do it right, that's where the real magic happens.
Okay, so the event's over. We're back in the office, got a stack of business cards, phones full of photos, and our heads are spinning with all this new stuff. What now?
Well, I know it's tempting to just crash after all that, but the real work starts now.
Yeah.
This follow-up after the event, that's where you turn all those handshakes and conversations into something real.
Right. So should we be blasting out generic thanks for stopping by emails to everyone we met?
No way. That's the worst thing you can do.
Okay.
Remember all that info your team gathered about what people need, the problems they're facing?
Yeah.
This is where that pays off.
Okay.
The guide is all about personalized follow-up.
Meaning?
Think about it. You get an email, and it mentions that specific thing you talked about at the booth.
Yeah.
And maybe it even has, a case study or a white paper that's totally relevant to you.
Right.
That's how you stand out. That's how you show you're actually listening.
And for anyone who doesn't know, a white paper is a really in-depth report that gives you a bunch of info on a specific problem or solution.
Exactly. It's about giving them something valuable, showing them you get it, you understand their challenges, and timing is everything.
How soon should you reach out?
The guide says 24 to 48 hours. Don't wait.
Right.
Strike while the iron's hot, while it's all still fresh in their minds.
Yeah, that makes sense. If you wait too long, they've probably already moved on to something else.
Totally. You got to stay top of mind. And don't just rely on email. Think about connecting on LinkedIn, sending a personalized video, or even inviting them to a webinar that digs deeper into something you talked about.
It's all about keeping those connections going using different channels.
Exactly.
So it sounds like Smart City Expo is less about closing deals right there and more about starting relationships that could lead to something bigger down the road.
You nailed it. It's about building trust, becoming a resource for people. The guide even mentions using a CRM system to keep track of everything.
Right. Which, for anyone who doesn't know, a CRM system is basically your command center for all your customer relationships. You can log everything in there from initial contact to follow-up conversations, and it helps you stay organized and make sure nothing falls through the cracks.
Exactly. It's a must-have for managing your pipeline and building those all-important relationships. But beyond the practical stuff, what really struck me about the guide's approach to follow-up is this focus on creating value.
It's not just about pushing your product or service on them.
Right. It's about being helpful, being a partner in their success.
I like that.
Now, here's the thing. All this is great, but how do we know if it's actually working? How do we measure, if our time at the expo was a success?
That's a good question. You can generate buzz and collect business cards, but how does that translate into, real business results?
Data. The guide talks a lot about tracking KPIs.
Key performance indicators.
Yeah. Things like how many qualified leads did we get? How many meetings did we book? How much traffic did we get to our website from, those key regions? Even how many times we got mentioned on social media.
So you're setting goals before the event and then looking at the data afterward to see if you hit those goals.
Exactly. And don't forget the feedback from your team. What worked? What didn't? What were people asking about? What challenges are they facing? That kind of anecdotal stuff is pure gold.
It's like getting a real feel for the market.
Totally. Helps you figure out how to do even better next time.
It's funny. When most people think about trade shows, they think about the booth, the presentations, the networking. But this guide shows you that it's so much bigger than that.
It's a whole process.
Yeah.
It's about building your brand, establishing yourself as a leader, and creating relationships that could pay off for years.
Couldn't have said it better myself. And speaking of going above and beyond, the guide has some interesting tips for making a real splash at Smart City Expo.
Oh, yeah. Like what?
Things that take you beyond, the usual exhibitor playbook. For example, have you thought about the Innovation Awards?
Those are the awards they give out at the event, right?
Yeah.
To companies with, like, the most groundbreaking solutions.
Yes. It's a chance to show off what you've got and get some serious recognition.
Right.
And it's not just about the award itself.
Being nominated, or even winning, can get you a ton of media coverage.
Right.
And boost your cred within the whole smart city world.
It's a great way to stand out, for sure. Attract investors, partners, customers. What else does the guide suggest?
Well, they talk about speaking opportunities at the conference.
Yeah.
Imagine giving a keynote speech or being on a panel discussion in front of all those city leaders and tech experts.
Wow. That's a huge platform.
It is. It's a chance to share your vision, show off your expertise, and position yourself as like the go-to person in your field.
Plus, it's a great way to generate leads and start conversations with people who are already interested in what you do.
Exactly. And remember, we were talking about strategic partnerships. The guide really pushes that, teaming up with other companies that complement what you do.
It's like two heads are better than one, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
You can share resources, share costs, and offer a more complete solution to people.
And having a joint booth or presentation makes you more visible, more attractive to potential partners and customers.
Win-win. So as you can see, there are tons of ways to make an impact at Smart City Expo. It's not just about having a flashy booth or a slick presentation.
Right.
It's about having a plan, knowing your audience, and going the extra mile to create something people will remember.
And don't forget, it's about aligning your company's values with the event's mission, which is to create smarter, more sustainable, and more human-centered cities.
Huge point. If you really believe in using tech to make cities better, people will see that. They'll feel it.
They can smell a fake a mile away.
Totally.
Okay, we've covered a lot. From planning to booth design, engaging with people, and following up afterward, we've pretty much walked through the whole exhibitor journey.
Yep.
But before we wrap up, there's one last piece of advice from the guide that I think is super important.
I think I know what you're going to say. Think long term.
Yeah, you got it. Smart City Expo, it's not just a one and done thing. It's about building those connections that could benefit your company for years down the line.
It is. It's realizing those conversations you start there, those are just the beginning. The real good stuff happens later,
Yeah.
in the months and years after, when you're working together on projects and maybe even forming those big partnerships that really shape the future of our cities.
It's like planting a seed and then watching it grow into this huge tree.
Exactly. And the guide, it kind of sneaks in this point about, making sure your company's values line up with the event's whole mission.
Which is?
Creating those smarter, more sustainable cities, the human-centered ones.
Yeah, right.
It's not just about tech for the sake of tech.
Yeah. If your company's all about that, if it's part of your DNA, people will see that. It'll show in everything you do, from your booth to your marketing stuff, even just the way you talk to people.
Being real, being authentic.
Yeah.
That's what people are looking for. They want to see solutions that, not only fix problems, but are also part of something bigger.
Something that makes the world a better place.
Exactly.
So, to wrap this all up, anyone listening who's been with us on this whole deep dive into Smart City Expo Barcelona, hopefully you get it now.
Yeah.
It's way more than just another trade show. It's where the future of cities gets figured out.
And remember, you don't have to be, some giant tech company to make a difference.
Yeah.
Every little bit counts. Every new idea, every partnership. It all helps us get closer to those smarter, more sustainable cities.
That's it for our deep dive. We hope you learned a bunch and are feeling kind of inspired. Until next time, keep learning, keep exploring, and keep pushing for what's possible.